Welcome back to Robin's Roundup with me, Jake Matho, and Tom Langford next to me, where we will once again recap the weekend just gone by, as well as looking forward to the fixtures that we have coming up, along with a special few events and some entertainment as we go along. So, without much further ado, let's go back to the game that we had this weekend. Trip up north to Morpeth Town. Initial thoughts, Tom Langford?
I mean, it's back-to-back wins for the Robins. It's absolutely fantastic stuff. I never thought when we started this show that we'd be so positive.
That's
we are very positive people and always try to look for the best in bad situations.
Yeah, we'd always be positive, but it was what about?
Exactly. You know, before when we started the first show, it was, you know, it was kind of like just picking on straws, kind of like looking for opportunities that were limited. But now it's back-to-back wins, 2 impressive performances. Especially the win over the weekend. In that second half, it was unbelievable. We just dealt them and like
put them to the sword.
Put them to the sword, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, well, the goals, you say, some of them were more special than others. The goal's a goal, I must say, and all the goals were important as the last one, but there were some special mentions you have to say in there.
Oh my, the Sam Sheridan goal, I think it's the best goal I've ever seen live.
Wow. Wow.
It's a big claim that, and I've seen some very special goals live, but it was just a phenomenal strike. You know, this season he scored some very important goals, and I think he scored 5 goals. 4 of them have been worldies.
For those of you that haven't seen it, do you want a quick recap, or do you want to throw it in there?
I'll just throw it in.
Insert Shez.
Used to find Hardcastle, to its near side it comes, and Michael Brewster got space to move into as he goes down the line into Lefundu, takes control of the ball, a good step over, gets around Walton, gets across it towards the back post, falls to Pritchard on the edge of the area, lays it back, Sheridan 30 yards out, right footed, it's a power driver, and what a strike that was! Sam Sheridan 30 yards out, right footed into the top right hand corner. Oh my word, what a goal from Sheridan!
Yeah, so it was a cracking goal, but that isn't the only one that we have.
No.
Louis Almond. It's a weird one because it's one of them that you challenge in a way of maybe it did beat Shez's, but for a different reason.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back on commentary and I didn't think it got in. I thought it leaped over the bar and kind of just looked away, and then all of a sudden I heard just Matt and you just like burst into
euphoria.
That's the word.
Finishing each other's
sentences. Thank you very much, euphoria. Because it was just a fantastic goal, and looking back on it, I thought it had deflected off a defender and kind of got that loop action. But when we watched the clip back on the bus, it didn't. It was just a fantastic strike that he got up and down in phenomenal circumstances. He did so well. It was the nice little shimmy, the quick feet. It was the John Pritchard build-up as well. Oh, he dodged one tackle, cut past his man, and then just played it into Almond, who did the rest, and it was a fantastic strike. Another mention as well has to be Ben Hardcastle getting his first goal for the club.
Louis Hardcastle. Louis
Hardcastle, as Matt said on commentary. Right, Matt? But yeah.
Yeah, it was a lovely goal.
You know, any other week we'd be talking and raving about that goal, but I mean, it's been put under a shadow there because just how great the other 2 goals were.
Instead of us inserting each of the 4 goals, check out the highlights because it really is worth a watch. Definitely. Even for the things we don't put away. It was, even for their chances, it was one end-to-end game, especially the first half. We just showed our clinical side in that second half, and I think a massive mention must be to the moment that may have swung the game towards Morpeth, which was the penalty.
Yeah.
Greg Hartley,
a fantastic save. I mean, it wasn't the best penalty, but he's still got to guess that right direction. He holds the ball, well. Doesn't come back out to any of their guys. He holds the ball, does a fantastic job. There was a save as well. He had to make the one-on-one before as well. That is in the highlights as well. And it's just again another fantastic save, and that's something he's done non-stop since he's come into the club. He's kept us in games, and it's that speed he gets off the line as well that just puts the striker under so much pressure to make a decision, whereas I don't think we've had that, at least this season, and maybe the beginning part of last season. Obviously George McMahon last season was a fantastic goalkeeper. Luke Pilling before that as well was good, but this season we have lacked a good goalkeeper, and I feel we've finally found one who could be here for the next few years. Yeah,
you say he was very quick and commandeering, I think is the word. Something out of his penalty area. He was always first to react to the ball, and it's something we have lacked, and it wasn't just. It just goes to show it wasn't just the penalty. That he was in the game. He was in the game throughout. As all the players were, none of the players really put a foot wrong. And when you think of players that did this, maybe they could have done better. They did something else that helped the team's cause of winning. Exactly. So it doesn't really matter, because in the end, they all put in a shift and it's paid off. And it's actually paid off to the extent where Morpeth, like, it's just another little positive for Ashton to take on to this 2 games in a row is Craig Park was a bit of a fortress, because they hadn't lost, I've got it down here, it's 378 days at home, Morpeth were unbeaten.
Wow.
They last lost the league game the 5th of January 2019. So it just goes to show how big as much as Morpeth have come up, and so they don't take it to heart too much.
Yeah.
It's a cracking result for Ashton. 2 on the bounce, and it does bode well for the future.
Definitely. And to break a record like that, it doesn't matter what. Yeah. Even when you go up a division, you still see it as a fortress. I know they've held it till January in the league above. So, you know, I was a little bit surprised how they kind of reacted, especially after the second goal winning. It seemed like the heads just dropped, and they didn't have that fight or that energy or tenacity to get themselves back in the game. You feel when you've got a record like that, you feel, doesn't matter, we've gone 2-1 down, we can still come back, still get into this. It's happened before at home, we've got this fantastic record, we can get ourselves out of it. But after the second goal went in, it kind of just flat. And the third goal really killed them.
The penalty,
it just put the game to bed. And you know, it must have been so easy for Michael Clegg and all his management staff on the bench, because they were thinking, we're expecting to be like bombarded at 2-3-1.
Yeah.
When we just controlled the ball, killed the game off, it was fantastic to see.
I mean, you say Morpeth may have died down a bit, but it could work both ways. The Ashton, like they seem to gain much more. What's the word? The character just showed through every player, and they had so much more confidence. And so it could work both ways. I feel like as much as we'd be surprised with the performance from Morpeth following the second goal, it did raise the levels in the Ashton team, and you could see through each and every player, it was a wonderful performance.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a good time to have a quick mention to the web page's goals that we've got up. The web page fantasy table, which we mentioned last week, a bit of a farce in our minds.
Definitely.
Probably not the only football club that will be a bit confused by where they've got their stats from.
Yeah.
But do you want to update what they've said now?
Well, according to web pages, the prediction, if you didn't see it last week, we get relegated according to their predictions, and nothing has changed. But, however, we are 2 points closer to the weird 20th place.
Yeah.
That I have actually found out how that works.
Oh, so, would you like to explain?
It's a little bit complicated, so if I get stuff wrong, I do apologise. But all the leagues at this level, which I believe is tier 8, I want to say.
Okay. Whatever tier it is.
Tier 7 or 8, I think it's 7. Anyway, so all the teams, so there's this league and then there's 2 that are more southernly based. So they all have a 20th position. Whoever has the lowest points per game goes down. Okay. So looking at our league, I think our league has 22 points. Is what? Let me just.
You say you identify that because each league has a different amount of.
Each league has a different amount. So in our league, it's Buxton on 22.
Yeah.
In I believe it's the Central, like the kind of like Midlandsy based one. That's on 22 as well. It's the Southern League that are on 16 points at the moment.
Yeah.
So even if the Robins were to get that 20th position, and the team in these other leagues do get lower points per game, we will stay up. As things stand. So that's kind of like how that works. If I've not explained it well, I do apologise. You know, I'm still a little bit confused by it, but it seems that 20th place in our division, as things stand, and if trends continue throughout the other leagues, then that 20th place in our league will become safe.
I mean, the way things are going for Ashton, if we were to finish 20th, you'd like to think the fact that if we do carry on the way we are playing, the points are going to be quite high for 20th place.
Definitely.
So
and
we should be all right.
I don't think we'll come 20th.
No.
I believe, you know, Michael Clegg has got this team right. He's getting, you could just see it. Stafford was a big game. You know, first half we didn't play well.
Yeah.
Second half we dug in. We got the result. It might have been a scrappy game. You know, I've seen a few fans who commented saying, you know, it is just we didn't look the best, and we only got 3 points. But we got the 3 points, but it was a massive 3 points, and I think it started something. And the way we played at Morpeth was absolutely fantastic. Anyone who was not there missed out. You know, it was a fantastic performance from everyone. To be honest, like you can't mention one player who probably had a bad game. Like you said earlier in the show, you know, people who did have a bad game then amended themselves later on.
They did. And you speak about Clegg. He's done something at half time in both those games.
Yeah, he mentioned it again in his interview that he'd said something to the lads, and what is he saying? Honestly, he's got to be the best motivational speaker I've ever seen.
Yeah, you see him as an all-round amazing man, because even like at the end of the game I saw, and I mentioned it to Matt, who I think said it on commentary.
Yeah.
We were 4-1 up against Morpeth, so you'd think they'd be a bit upset, let's say.
Yeah.
And you'd think they'd be giving it a bit, but instead they were having a laugh with Clegg on the touchline. They were literally having a chat with him, and it just shows the aroma. And like I heard Matt quote it like, "This is our manager," and it is.
It's like the aura he brings.
Yeah.
He does have a very special aura about him that you don't see. Like you and me have spoke about it. He's like the non-league Jurgen Klopp.
Yes.
He's got that persona, that personality where everyone likes him, and it's a very similar style as well. We played that high press as well. So,
yeah.
You know, maybe Michael's taken a few inspirations from Liverpool's manager. You never know.
If he has, it looks good for the future.
Definitely looks good for the future.
Anyway, that seems to conclude this section on our episode. It does, though, bring us nicely into a new thing we've decided to make, which is called Take Me Away.
Take me away. Take me away.
Right, so basically this section of the episode is something that we will look to do whenever we've just been on an away trip, and very nicely we have, so we're going to include it this week. Basically, it's just us looking back at everything except for the actual 90 minutes on the field. It's the travel, it's the wake-up time, it's the coach journey, it's the stadium itself, it's the stop at the services if anything happens. It's just any little thing that happens. I mean, last season would have been a good one, but we'll get to that. But any little thing that happens during the day, because it does take out the whole of the day.
Yeah.
Whereas Ashton, whenever we're at home, it will take a fair chunk of the day, but the away journeys do require a lot more energy, a lot more alertness just throughout, and it is a grind, but also it can be very much worth it when the results are like they are. So, starting with it, would you like to take us through from 6 a.m?
Yeah, 6 a.m. was our wake-up call. Me and you both don't live near... Well, we do kind of live near the ground. We do live in Manchester, but
public transport,
it takes us about between an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to the ground, so it is a grind, especially when the bus is deciding it wants to leave at 9:30 to get to basically Scotland. So up at 6, making coffee and all sorts of food to take on our travels. You know, get ourselves down to the bus station. Not doing great for time, already a bit late.
We did prepare well food-wise, we're still eating it.
Still eating the food.
So we have done one thing right, we might have been a tiny bit late.
Yeah.
But food-wise,
that was all good.
Yeah.
Anyway, got to the ground, we sorted all that, you know, there was a few hiccups along the way, but nothing major.
Just a few pickups, weren't there?
Yeah.
Weird pickups, but we got there in one piece.
We got there in one piece, made it to the end, and yeah, got to the ground, got on the bus. Day was away. Great start to the day. I feel the next point that kind of happened throughout the day was the service station. Now, you know, everyone likes the service station, go to the refreshments and stuff. John Pritchard loved the service station, bless him.
For a very particular reason.
Very particular reason. And W.H. Smith, bless him, playing with a child's book that had wheels on it. So a book with genuine wheels. Genuine wheels on it, and he was amazed. I quote, "Wow, look at these wheels." Well done, John, if you're watching.
You then proceeded to flip a bottle in front of some poor lady, but...
Yeah.
We move on.
We move on.
But yeah, no, I think that was a fair thing to include in our Take Me Away episode. We then got back on the bus. And I don't recall anything necessarily happening until we got there.
Got there.
Do you want to explain what you saw when we got there?
It was nice, wasn't it?
It was.
It looked very much like a Centre Parks.
Okay, I've never been to Centre Parks, so at least I have a good.
Yeah, that's what Centre.
A good look. I'm going to go to Centre Parks and they're like, oh, Craig Park.
Oh, Craig Park. Hang on, are we in Morpeth of Wales? Centre Parks. But yeah, so we obviously done a bit of research as always when we look at grounds that we're going to go to. You know, you want to see where like the good media facilities are, what positions you're going to have for commentary and filming the game. So we obviously do our due diligence on grounds. Google isn't flattering to Morpeth, let's just put it that way.
Update your picture.
Oh my, the ground looks awful from the pictures you see on it. Well, not awful, but not Northern Premier League standard compared to other grounds we've been to this season. But when we get there, it's actually quite delightful.
Oh, it was lovely.
You know, they've got like kind of like a nice balcony with, like I'd say, like, you know, like a wedding gazebo.
Yeah, like some random event.
Yeah.
You could have like
exactly.
I think a wedding event.
Wedding, like a wedding gazebo.
Example.
That was nice. Far side, you had a lovely weird kind of stand. It was very elevated, but only had 2 rows.
Yeah.
That were kind of a little bit of a mishmash. The media facilities we were kind of just in normal seats, to be honest. You know, it would have been nice to have a table to rest.
It was better than some, though.
Better than some, better than Baseford. Thank you for just a table by the pitch side. Thanks for that. But much better than Baseford. But yeah, it was a good, nice facility.
It was a good, nice.
Oh,
it was a lovely view.
Yeah.
It was a good elevation, like you said.
Yeah.
It was very shielded from if there was rain, although also it was sunny. What was happening there?
Yeah.
There was sun, but behind us, the trees, man.
You were raving about the tweet.
If you ever go to Morpeth or if you ever see like any pictures there, like you'll know what I mean, because all around, like I would say a good at least half, maybe 2/3 of the stadium, there were some fully grown, like massive. I don't know what the trees were. They looked like super, like giants Christmas trees.
I'd say very Scandinavian is what I go for. But
that's what I meant.
Better,
that is what I meant. Like 6 on half a dozen of the other, and they were fully grown, fully green. It was honestly, it was gorgeous, and it was very peaceful as well.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of nowhere, in the nice way. Like not having it was in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't Durham. It was like it wasn't. You go to uni and you're like, oh, where are you going? Durham. What are you going to do there? You're in the middle of nowhere. In Morpeth, however, Craig Park, in the middle of nowhere, but there was a co-op. And that was lovely.
That was lovely. Stopped there on the way back.
We did.
That proceeds quite nicely for a few drinks. You know, to celebrate the victory. I feel they were well deserved.
It was quality.
Yeah, I feel the best way to sum up the aftermath is just to insert the video that was on Twitter.
Yeah.
Of John O'Hunt, captain, singing Sweet Caroline.
I'm pretty sure that mood reflects everyone else's mood.
Definitely, there's a good mood on the bus.
Anyway, before we conclude, little rating out of 10 on the whole experience.
Whole experience. I mean, it's the best away game I have ever been on with Ashton United.
It's my first on a bus.
Yeah.
So not a bad start.
I mean, that the bar has been set very high.
It has.
But not my best ever away game I've ever been to. But it was a very good day, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It was just a fantastic day. You know, if we'd have lost, it would have been a completely different rating. But the fact that we won 4-1 and the atmosphere after and just everything, the performance, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
That's fair.
That is fair, very fair.
Fair assessment.
It is a fair assessment.
Anyway, on to our next round, which is one that you will all be very familiar with, and that is Mysterious Ground.
Oh, mysterious ground, whose ground are you? Whose ground are you, baby?
I say familiar, but I have only done it once, which was in the first episode. So a quick recap on the game is I'm going to provide 3 stats about a specific stadium in the Northern Premier League, and Tom's going to provide 2 answers as to which one of them may be. He may say the club, or even if he knows the stadium name, he'll provide that. Then we'll move on, and we'll come back to it later on at the show, once you've had a little think about it at home, and we will provide the answer. So, without further ado, fact 1 is they've hosted the reserves of Manchester United, Manchester City, Stockport County and Oldham Curzon Ladies. Manchester City they in fact had a partnership with. In 2015 they reverted back to their original name, which they had changed in 2010. I will provide that towards the end of the show because I feel like it might just give it away. And finally, they play on artificial 4G as opposed to grass, or sand, or mud, or water. Have you got your 2 guesses?
I have got my 2 guesses. So, I mean, them clues I've limited it down. I've been to 3 grounds this season that have artificial surfaces. Right. So, Hyde have artificial, Buxton do as well, and Baseford.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Now Baseford's a little bit too far
for
like
right.
Manchester, whereas Buxton's it's Derbyshire, but like it's like an obtainable distance. But I feel like I'm gonna say as my guess would be Hyde.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna go for as my guess, but it could be completely wrong, you know. But that's just my guess. I'm gonna go with Hyde.
So you're saying Hyde, but it could also be Buxton, or it could also be, who else did you suggest?
I said Baseford, but they're the only other team I've seen with a 3G surface this season. Definitely not Baseford at all, is it?
Anyway, moving on, back to our show. We were going to go on to the next games that we have coming up, but before we do that, we've also got a special mention for an event that's coming on this Friday at 7:30. Would you like to explain it?
Yes, it's a Q&A with Michael Clegg, put on by the Supporters Club. It is free of entry, so please come down. You know, Michael has agreed to do this to get to know the fans better, and I think you'll understand what we mean when we say he's got this aura about him, because I imagine he'll be very personal.
Yeah.
We'll answer every single question. Obviously, we'll be there as well, so 2 famous stars that you can meet as well. You know, it's 2 for the price of 1, really.
True. That event is happening in and amongst a sandwich of fixtures as well, so we're going to look towards them now.
Yeah.
Firstly, we're going to look towards the game that is happening on Tuesday. No matter what, if you're watching this, it may be Monday, so tomorrow, and it is the visit to Radcliffe. So Radcliffe, going back to the game against them at home.
Yeah.
It's going to be different.
It wasn't great, was it? You know, Tyrese Sinclair ran us ragged all afternoon, but you've got to look at the circumstances we were under as well.
Yeah.
Jody Bannon had left the club.
Yeah.
Josh Wilson was in charge for the game, and first half I think we dealt with him quite well, if I remember right. But then second half we fell apart.
Yeah, I think it was goalless at the break.
It was, yeah, and you could just tell that we didn't have a manager, if that makes sense. No offence to Josh Wilson, but like you could just tell that there wasn't a clear plan in place for that to happen. So we kind of just fell away the second half, and Tyrese Sinclair, wow, what a player he is going to be. You know, he is back at Mansfield now, thankfully for our blessings, because he's been phenomenal for Radcliffe so far this season, and he will play definitely at a minimum the Football League, you imagine, with the performances he put in for Radcliffe. So for him not to be part of this game on Tuesday is going to be a massive boost for Michael Clegg and the squad.
So yeah, so you say 3-0 defeat it was in the end.
Yeah.
You say Tyrese Sinclair was in form.
Yeah.
Radcliffe themselves were in form. They won 7 games. Well, they made it, I believe, a 7-game.
7 or 8, yeah, wasn't it?
Winning.
Yeah.
And then they faced Lancaster and succumbed to defeat.
Yeah.
That's not so much of a surprise because Lancaster were on form themselves, second in the league.
Yeah.
But they lost, and it seemed to blow their wind out of them because they then went to the bottom of the league. Stafford lost to them, and now they've only won 2 in 10.
Yeah.
And Sinclair's not the only guy they've lost.
Yeah, they've lost their manager as well.
Jonathan Mackin.
Thank you for reminding me that name. So it's a big blow for them because, you know, he won promotion with them last season as well. You think when they came to ours, they were very dominant on the sidelines. You know, they were running up and down, which, you know, is a little bit not allowed at all, to be honest. But they definitely made their presence known. They definitely made their presence known at Hurst Cross. And I feel to lose that is going to have a detrimental impact on the squad as well.
Yeah.
And seeing a little bit on Twitter as well, it seems that he's had a go at Radcliffe, the club, as well.
Oh, has he?
Yes, he has,
Oh, wow.
saying that they've not kind of like backed him long term. So to see that as well is a little bit like there is a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like
I'm struggling myself.
animosity. That's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for.
Animosity.
Animosity between the club and him, and
Mhm.
you imagine a few of the players have kind of got involved or felt that impact around the club. They lost as well at the weekend 2-0 to who was
Was
it?
Gainsborough?
I believe it was Gainsborough.
Yeah, they were at home as well, I think.
Yeah, they were at home. So again, another place where they should be picking up points, and you feel we come into this game now hitting a little bit of form.
Yeah.
They're completely off form.
Yeah.
If you look at it like that, we should be beating these.
We'll be really up for it. However, Radcliffe will probably look back to the 3-0 win that they got when they came to Hurst Cross,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, this is the chance that we can get, because they have lost 4 games on the trot, not
Yeah.
one this year.
Mm-hmm.
They will be like, they will be just as motivated as we will be for different reasons, because
Yeah.
they will be like, this is our chance.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Radcliffe, they were just promoted last season.
Mm.
It is a bit of a mention maybe worth saying. They were 7th in the league when they beat us, maybe playoff places. They may have gone on an awful run in comparison.
Yeah.
But it does beg the question of maybe had they not gone on that 7-game win run,
Yeah.
the 2-10 may not have been so bad for the manager, and maybe he would have been given faith, because you saying that has
Yeah,
brought it to
yeah.
my attention for the first time that he has criticised the club for not backing him.
Mm.
And it does sound a bit harsh now that you say that, because he seems to have done a decent job.
Yeah. He did a fantastic job getting them promoted
Yeah.
to this level, and then they've continued similar with what we've seen from Morpeth. Really, they've adapted well to the league.
Yeah.
You know, maintain they're both hopefully going to maintain their position in the league, because you know when Radcliffe did come to ours, they were an attacking based side who
Yeah.
were enjoyable to watch. So you'd imagine they will be fine, but looking at their season long term, you imagine playoffs aren't what they're going to achieve. Now it depends on who comes
Yeah.
in, and you know
That's
they've got to get over this run, and like you said, they will see this as an opportunity to get back on the run with our league position. But we are in form at the moment.
Yeah, no, you're right. Playoffs probably aren't their intentions, but I don't know if they ever were.
Mm.
So it's something for them to
Yeah,
worry about.
yeah.
We need to take this by the scruff of the neck, because
Definitely.
it's a game we need to win to maintain this momentum,
Mhm.
as opposed to Saturday, which we may not look towards it as a game we have to win.
Yeah.
We host Lancaster, 2nd in the league. It's not a game where we will come away with disappointed if we were to like get a draw out of it, or as long as we play really well,
Yeah.
which we have
Yeah.
been recently.
Yeah, Lancaster's going to be a very tough one. We went to theirs earlier in the season. Lovely city, by the way. That would have ranked really highly and take me away. When we played there, we just didn't look in the game at all. They were the more dominant side, and you know they are up there for a reason, because they are a fantastic footballing side. But you know they've just lost to South Shield, so they're going to come into this game. I don't believe they've got a midweek fixture either, because they played 26. So I imagine there's not one queued in there ready. I can't quite remember, but if they have, then this point's relevant. But they should be more fresh-legged, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
Whereas we've got Morpeth, which was a long journey. That will take some out of the players, and then however difficult Tuesday's going to be for us. So you think if they haven't got another game after Shields, then they're going to be well up for getting back onto chasing South Shields down for that title, because is only one place that goes up in this league, and it is extremely difficult. One point to make though is, of the 7 games they've lost this season, 5 of them have been away from home.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So you know there is swings and roundabouts to this situation. I feel if we do lose that game, it isn't a be all and end all game, because we are expected to lose. You look at our fixture running after that, there are much more easier fixtures where we can attain maximum points, whereas I feel this game is a real test to show our defensive credibilities that we've started to warrant over the past few weeks.
Yeah, and our attacking ones.
And our attacking ones as well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah.
I also would like to point out on the note of Tuesday's game, I feel like they will be more fresh-legged, and we will be lacking in that department potentially, because I think if we were the manager, don't know what's going through Clegg's head, maybe he has a different plan in mind.
Yeah.
I think Tuesday's the one we would be going for, so we would be tired for Saturday, because Tuesday's the one we'd be like, this is our opportunity.
Yeah.
Whereas Saturday, it's go and show me what you've got.
Yeah. Show what you've got against the bigger team, but if we can get 3 points on Tuesday, you think then Saturday, there's not as much pressure on us to go and attain points. If we do get a point or 3, even better. But if we lose, like I've said, it's not the be all and end all, and we can move on. And I think one of the main signs is just seeing improvement from last time we played them.
And hey, we'll find out. If you want to find out for yourself, come on Friday, because then you can ask yourself.
Then you can ask yourself, ask Michael all the questions you want.
Exactly. And that quite concludes the show today. We'll just finish off by going back to Mysterious Ground. I will quickly reiterate what the stats were, just in case you've forgotten, just in case Tom had forgotten, although he does seem quite confident. The 3 stats were the fact that this stadium has hosted Manchester United reserves, Manchester City reserves, Stockport County reserves, and Oldham Curzon Ladies. It reverted back to its original name in 2015. Originally, it was called United, but it changed its name in 2010 to FC. Then it changed back in 2015 to United. It also has an artificial 4G pitch. Your answer is?
Hyde. Is it Ewan Fields or Tameside Stadium now?
It's known as Tameside Stadium.
Right.
As well as its main name, which is?
Ewan Fields.
Yeah. And it is Hyde United. That concludes the show. I've been Jake Mather.
I've been Tom Langford.
Thank you very much for watching Robin's Roundup.